If there's one lesson I've learned after decades of working with older adults, it's this. Most seniors don't overspend out of carelessness. They do it out of habit, emotion, or simply not realizing how much things have changed. That's why it's so important to talk openly and honestly about how to stop wasting money after 60. Because the little things that used to feel normal or manageable can, over time, turn into a quiet retirement drain. And the truth is that drain isn't always visible. It doesn't announce itself with big bank statements or flashing warning signs. It shows up in subtle ways. A recurring charge you forgot to cancel, a purchase made out of loneliness, an upgrade you never really needed. But here's the good news. You can shift it. You can pause, reflect, rethink, because it's not too late to take back your sense of control and joy. Let me ask you, have you ever found yourself wondering where your money went, even though you didn't buy anything extravagant? Do you ever feel like you're being pulled into spending out of pressure, not purpose? Or maybe you've asked yourself, why am I still buying this when my life looks so different now? If any of those questions feel familiar, stay with me. Because today, we're going to look at what's really behind some of those quiet, hidden patterns and how just a few small changes can make your retirement feel lighter, freer, and more yours. Before we begin, make sure to subscribe to the channel so you won't miss the next conversation. All right, let's begin. Number one, the myth of elegance and a price tag. Years ago, I had a patient named Lorraine. She was 72, always impeccably dressed. Silk scarves, pearl earrings, handbags with little gold logos I couldn't pronounce. When she walked into my clinic, heads turned, not because she was flashy, but because she carried herself like a woman who once believed being well-dressed was a kind of armor. One day, during a routine checkup, she sighed as she smoothed her blazer and said, "You know, Doc, I used to dress to impress. Now I just dress out of habit. But the parties are fewer, the eyes are softer, and honestly, I miss my sweatpants." That stayed with me. You see, in our working years, many of us learned that appearance could open doors. A sharp outfit might help land a job, win respect, or feel powerful in a world that often overlooked older women. But retirement invites a different kind of power, the freedom to let go of performance, to be seen for who we are, not what we wear. Luxury labels promise confidence, but confidence isn't stitched into the seams of a coat. It's in the way you smile when you hear your grandchild's voice. It's in the way you comfort a friend with nothing more than your presence. And no handbag, no matter the brand, can compete with that. What concerns me most, though, isn't the price tag. It's the emotional cost. I've seen too many seniors stretch their limited income on fashion that no longer fits their lifestyle. Clothes that sit untouched while credit cards gather interest. You don't have to give up style. But what if style looked different now? What if your favorite outfit was one that made you feel light, comfortable, unburdened? The older we get, the more beautiful ease becomes. Lorraine eventually donated half her closet. She kept her softest sweaters, her comfiest jeans, in one special dress that made her feel radiant. The rest, she let go. "I dress for joy now," she told me, "not approval." If you're still chasing that next blouse or shoe to feel seen, I ask you gently, seen by whom? And for what? Let yourself be known for your warmth, your wisdom, your stories. That's elegance no label can buy. If you found this helpful, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. And if you have any questions, leave them in the comments below. I'll personally respond to every one of them. All right, let's continue. The next habit might be sitting quietly in your pocket right now, waiting for another upgrade. Number two, when new gadgets drain your peace and your wallet. I met Logan at a wellness seminar I gave in Arizona. He was 74, sharp as a tack, and had a phone more expensive than my medical textbooks. "Keeps me young," he joked, tapping the sleek screen. But the truth slipped out over lunch. "Doc," he said, leaning in, "I can't even find the flashlight on this thing." This is more common than you'd think. There's an unspoken pressure in our world today that says if you're not upgrading, you're falling behind. New phone models, smartwatches, tablets, they promise ease, speed, connection. But for many older adults, they deliver frustration. A woman I counsel, Joyce, bought the newest phone for its improved camera. She wanted to take better photos of her garden, but she found herself locked out of her device more often than not. Passwords, facial recognition, settings, none of it came easily. Eventually, she went back to her old phone. And you know what? It worked just fine. Here's what we forget. The goal isn't to keep up with technology. The goal is to stay connected to loved ones, to joyful moments, to what truly matters. If your current device still lets you do that, why chase something newer? Tech companies thrive on the illusion of need, but wisdom means knowing the difference between need and novelty. Ask yourself, is this upgrade really for me or for someone else's idea of progress? When we overinvest in constant updates, we underinvest in the quiet stability of what's already enough. Logan, by the way, eventually traded his high-tech phone for a simpler one. It's not dumb, he laughed. It's just smart in a different way. Now he uses it to video call his granddaughter every Sunday. No stress, no software updates interrupting breakfast. Your time and peace of mind that are more valuable than any feature on a screen. And your worth isn't measured in megapixels or gigabytes. So next time the new model comes out, pause. Hold the one you have. If it still fits your life, let it stay. Before we move on, I'd love to know, have you ever regretted a tech upgrade? Or maybe held on to an old gadget that still works like a charm? Share your story below, and if this resonates, be sure to tap subscribe so you don't miss what's coming next. Number 3, the silent burden of credit card interest. When Maria walked into my office last fall, she carried more than her purse. She carried the weight of quiet anxiety. A 70-year-old widow from New Mexico, she still wore her wedding ring. She smiled easily, but it didn't reach her eyes. After some routine checks, she hesitated at the door and asked, "Do you mind if I ask you something?" "Not medical." I nodded. "It's about debt," she whispered, almost ashamed. Maria had always been careful with money. She and her husband lived modestly, raised 3 children, never had flashy tastes. But after he passed, loneliness began to fill the empty spaces in her home. At first, it was small things, ordering a new set of curtains, a few gifts for the grandkids, a special lamp that reminded her of their anniversary trip to Italy. But she charged them all to a credit card. She didn't notice how quickly the balance crept up. Until one month, the interest alone was more than her grocery bill. That month, she skipped her hair appointment. The next, she put off refilling a prescription. That's when she knew something had to change. We sat down and talked, not about money, but about meaning, about how spending had become a way of holding on to a sense of control, of beauty, of connection. Here's the thing no one warns us about in retirement. Interest doesn't just accumulate, it steals peace. And peace, at our age, is priceless. Maria made a plan. She called her credit card company and asked for a lower rate. She started paying off more than the minimum. She canceled things she didn't need, and she forgave herself. That last part was the hardest. Credit card debt is so often wrapped in silence and shame. But there's no shame in being human. We all seek comfort in different ways. The key is recognizing when a habit has stopped helping and started hurting. If you're in a similar spot, take a breath. You're not alone. There are resources, counselors, even nonprofit advisors who specialize in helping older adults regain control without judgment. And let me say this, your worth is not tied to a number on a statement. You're not behind. You're simply beginning again with wisdom on your side. If this story touched something in you, go ahead and click the subscribe button. And if debt is something you've faced or overcome, I'd be honored to hear your journey in the comments. I'm here to answer every question, one heart at a time. Number 4, the drain you don't see, unused subscriptions. Not long ago, I visited an old friend, Charles. He's 76, retired from teaching literature and still keeps his living room lined with bookshelves, not gadgets. While catching up over chamomile tea, he showed me his tablet, an old one cracked in the corner, and said, "I think I'm paying for at least 6 things I don't use, but I can't remember how to cancel any of them." I wasn't surprised. Hidden subscriptions are one of the most overlooked money drains among older adults. They often start small, a streaming trial during a holiday sale, a language app someone recommended, a fitness platform that promised to get us stretching more. Just a few dollars each. But months pass, years even, and those charges continue like background noise on a quiet day. Let me tell you about Claire, a 68-year-old widow in Michigan. During the pandemic, she signed up for nearly a dozen online services, TV platforms, wellness apps, meal planning subscriptions. They made her feel productive and connected at first, but after a while she noticed something odd. Her bank account seemed lighter, and she couldn't recall the last time she used most of those services. When she finally sat down with her grandson to go through her monthly statements, they uncovered $135 due per month in charges, over $1,600 per year. Claire was stunned. "That's a vacation," she said quietly. And she was right. What made the biggest difference wasn't just canceling, it was reclaiming awareness. She chose three things that brought her joy: her gardening magazine, her library's digital book app, and one cooking site she truly used. The rest? Gone. She now keeps a handwritten list taped inside her cabinet with every subscription she has, what it costs, and when it renews. "If I can't remember why I signed up," she told me, "I probably don't need it." It's a small act, but a powerful one, because every automatic withdrawal is a decision being made without your voice. And when you reclaim that voice, you reclaim agency, not just over your money, but over your time and priorities. So if something's quietly nibbling away at your budget, shine a light on it, simplify, keep what serves you, let go of what doesn't. If this inspired you to check your own subscriptions, give this video a thumbs up and subscribe for more practical wisdom. And if you found any tools or tricks that help you stay on top of your spending, share them in the comments. I'd love to hear and reply. Number 5, buying hope that never arrives. The cost of lottery dreams. Grace was one of those people you instantly liked: warm smile, sharp wit, and a laugh that filled the room. She was 66 when I first met her during a community health fair. We talked about cholesterol and walking shoes, but what she really wanted to share was this: "Doc, I know the odds are terrible, but every time I buy a lottery ticket, I feel like I'm reaching for something." She said it softly, almost like a confession. For years, Grace had played Powerball every Saturday. Just a few bucks here, a couple scratch-offs there. Nothing wild, she told herself. But over time, it added up. And one afternoon, while organizing receipts for her taxes, she paused and did the math. Nearly $3,000 gone in 2 years. No grand vacation, no mortgage-free home, just a drawer full of losing tickets and a sinking feeling in her gut. And yet, it wasn't really about the money. It was about possibility. That tiny thrill of maybe this time. A glimmer of hope in the monotony of daily life. And let's be honest, who doesn't want to believe in magic now and then? But Grace came to a realization that changed everything. She didn't want to wish her way into a better life. She wanted to build one. Slowly, deliberately, tangibly. So she made a deal with herself. Every week, instead of lottery tickets, she'd put $10 into a real joy jar. After a few months, she signed up for a painting class she'd always been curious about. Then she bought a train ticket to visit her niece in Colorado. And eventually, she treated herself to a weekend getaway with her oldest friend. She wasn't chasing a jackpot anymore. She was creating one. If you've ever stood in line at a gas station clutching a ticket and thinking, "What if?" I understand. But I also encourage you to ask, what would it look like to use that same hope to invest in something guaranteed? Like a skill, a memory, a small joy you can hold today? Because here's the truth. We're already rich in the ways that matter. In wisdom, in love, in lived experience. No ticket can compete with that. Has this story made you rethink the little things you spend money on out of habit? If so, I'd love to hear your thoughts below. And while you're here, hit that subscribe button so we can keep walking through this journey together, one wise step at a time. Number 6, the hidden toll of food delivery convenience. After his wife passed away, Robert, a 73-year-old retired electrician from Nevada, told me that cooking just didn't feel right anymore. Their kitchen had always been her domain: spices in labeled jars, handwritten recipe cards, Sunday roasts. But once she was gone, the stove went cold. So Robert turned to takeout. At first it was a comfort, warm food delivered without effort, without memories. Pad Thai on Tuesday, burgers on Thursday, pizza on the weekends. No dishes, no reminders, just silence and a full stomach. But after a routine checkup, His numbers were off. Blood pressure creeping up, weight gain, rising cholesterol. And when I asked him how often he cooked at home, he chuckled. I don't even know where the frying pan is. He wasn't alone. Many older adults lean on delivery, not out of laziness, but loneliness. It's fast, it's easy, it fills the moment. But here's what it doesn't do. Nourish the spirit. Food delivery, while convenient, often comes at a triple cost: financial, physical, and emotional. The meals are pricier, the ingredients are often high in sodium and fat, and more than anything, it keeps us detached from something deeply human, preparing food with our own hands. I encourage Robert to start small, one meal a week, nothing fancy, just eggs and toast, then a pot of soup, a grilled sandwich. After a few weeks, he called me proud. I made my own stew today, and I didn't even mess it up. Then something shifted. He started setting the table, even if it was just for one. He played music while he chopped onions. Eventually, he invited his neighbor over for a weekly lunch. From food came connection. From effort came healing. Cooking isn't about impressing anyone. It's about reminding yourself that you still matter, that your hands can still create comfort, that you are still worth showing up for, even if no one else is watching. If you find yourself defaulting to delivery most days, take a pause. Try just one meal this week. A bowl of oatmeal, a homemade salad. Let the act of making it be part of the medicine. You might be surprised at what starts to heal. If this story resonated with you, please subscribe so you won't miss the next chapter. And if you've found ways to bring joy back into mealtimes, big or small, I'd love for you to share them in the comments. I'll be reading and responding with care. Number 7. When good intentions turn into guilt. The truth about unused exercise equipment. It arrived in 3 giant boxes, all shiny and full of promise. Judith, a 69-year-old former librarian from North Carolina, had decided to invest in her health. Her daughter helped her order a brand new stationary bike, top of the line, with a built-in screen and live classes. For 2 weeks, Judith was unstoppable. She pedaled through scenic countryside trails on the screen, feeling strong and motivated. But then came a cold, then a house guest, then a sore hip. And before long, the bike sat untouched in the corner of her den. Weeks turned into months. Every time she passed it, she felt a pang, not in her body, but in her heart. It stares at me, she told me during a checkup, like it knows I gave up. Judith's story isn't unusual. I've spoken with dozens of older adults who started out with the best intentions. A treadmill bought during the New Year's resolution rush. Dumbbells collecting dust under the bed. An expensive yoga membership that's never been activated. And the worst part? It's not the money spent, it's the shame that settles in afterward. That quiet voice that says, you wasted it, you failed. But here's what I remind my patients. Exercise doesn't have to be expensive. It doesn't have to be high-tech. It doesn't even have to happen indoors. What it needs to be is consistent, gentle, and joyful. Judith eventually sold her bike to a neighbor and used part of the money to buy a new pair of walking shoes. She joined a local mall walking group that met twice a week. They laughed, shared stories, and moved together at a pace that felt good, not punishing. And something beautiful happened. She began to look forward to those walks. She stopped equating exercise with performance. Instead, it became a practice of kindness toward her body, her mind, and herself. If you've got a piece of equipment gathering dust, I'm not here to tell you to toss it, but I will say this: you don't need a machine to move. You need a reason, a rhythm, a routine that fits who you are today, not who you were 10 years ago. Let movement feel like freedom, not punishment. Have you ever felt guilty about unused equipment? You're not alone. Share your story in the comments, and while you're at it, subscribe to the channel for more real-life reflections that speak to this season of life. I'd be honored to have you with us. Number 8, searching for meaning in expensive courses. After retirement, many people discover a silence they didn't expect. Not just the quiet of no longer commuting, but the deeper kind. The one that asks, now who am I? That was the question Lillian, a 71-year-old former accountant from Ohio, asked herself one afternoon while sorting mail. She came across a glossy brochure for an online life coaching course. The headline read, Rediscover Your Purpose After 60. It felt like a sign. The program cost $3,500. It promised clarity, confidence, and the tools to live your best life. Lillian hesitated, but then thought, what else am I doing? So she signed up. The first few weeks were exciting. She joined Zoom calls, filled out workbooks, meditated with strangers. But slowly, doubt crept in. The sessions felt repetitive, the advice vague. She found herself nodding but not learning. By the end, Lillian looked at her notes and realized the biggest truth. Everything they told her, she already knew. The real insight came not from the course, but from realizing she didn't need it. Lillian didn't need to be transformed. She needed to reconnect with herself and with others. She decided to start small. She joined a local women's book club. She began mentoring a young woman starting her career in accounting. She even picked up watercolor painting again, something she hadn't touched since college. And in those small, unpaid, unmarketed moments, she found the meaning she had been promised all along. Here's what I often tell patients who feel lost after retirement. There's no online class that can teach you who you are. You've already earned your wisdom. You've already lived through the storms and the sunrises. Sometimes the richest growth comes not from adding more, but from remembering what's already within you. Now, that's not to say all courses are useless. Some offer real value. But before enrolling, pause and ask, am I doing this to grow or because I'm afraid I've stopped mattering? If it's the latter, let me say gently, you matter right now exactly as you are. Lillian's greatest course didn't come with a certificate. It came with conversation, contribution, and community. And that, my friend, is priceless. Have you ever signed up for something that promised a breakthrough, only to realize your breakthrough was already inside you? If so, I'd love to hear about it below. And if this spoke to you in any way, hit that subscribe button. We've still got one more truth to unpack together. Number 9, the true price of a brand new car. Alexander had always driven old trucks. He was 70, a retired postman from Montana, practical to the bone. His last vehicle had nearly 200,000 miles on it, and when it finally gave out, his daughter insisted he treat himself. Dad, get something new. You've earned it. So he did. Alexander bought a brand new SUV loaded with features he didn't really understand. Lane assist, voice control, heated steering wheel. It looked nice in the driveway. His neighbors complimented him. For a little while, it felt good. But when the first monthly payment came, his stomach tightened. He hadn't had a car note in decades. And then came the higher insurance, the maintenance tied to dealership rules, the sinking realization that the car had already dropped thousands in value the moment he drove it off the lot. I wanted to feel free, he told me, but somehow this car made me feel tied down. This is something I see too often. Older adults, especially those entering retirement, fall into the trap of thinking a new car symbolizes success or safety. And while there's nothing wrong with wanting comfort or reliability, new doesn't always mean better, and it certainly doesn't always mean wiser. There are so many certified pre-owned vehicles out there, cars with low mileage, still under warranty, and half the cost. And for many seniors, choosing one of those means more financial freedom. Freedom to take a trip, to help a grandchild, or simply to sleep better, knowing your savings aren't being drained by a depreciating asset. Alexander ended up trading in the SUV after a year. He got a gently used sedan with fewer bells and whistles, but it suited him. This one feels like mine, he said, not like something I'm trying to live up to. And that's the core of it. After a certain age, we don't need to impress anyone. We need reliability, simplicity, breathing room, because the destination, those moments of connection, peace, and joy, matters more than the vehicle that gets us there. If you're standing in a dealership right now or eyeing a shiny commercial, take a breath. Ask yourself, is this for me or for someone I used to be? Thanks for staying with me through all 9 truths. If this chapter spoke to your experience, consider subscribing for more reflections like this. And if you've ever downsized your ride or wished you had, I'd be honored to hear your thoughts below. I read every comment and respond personally. Conclusion: the quiet power of letting go. As we move through the later chapters of life, we begin to understand that joy is not found in accumulation, but in release. Not in the things we buy, but in the burdens we lay down. Each of these 9 habits we've explored, it isn't just about saving money. It's about reclaiming space. Space in our homes, our wallets, and most importantly, our hearts. Space to breathe, to live slower, and to feel lighter, to savor what's real and lasting. You've spent a lifetime giving, building, showing up for others. Now it's your turn to simplify and be deeply, unapologetically kind to yourself. That doesn't mean giving up joy, it means choosing it with greater wisdom. Letting go isn't failure, it's freedom. So whether it's a closet full of labels, a drawer full of old receipts, or a belief that no longer fits the person you've become, maybe today is the day you gently set it down. You are not behind. You are blooming exactly where you are. If this video spoke to you, please give it a like, share it with someone who may need it, and hit that subscribe button. Don't forget to turn on the notification bell so you won't miss what's next, I promise. There's more heartfelt truth ahead. Thank you for spending this time with me. It's been an honor. Until next time, take gentle care of yourself, and may every day ahead bring you peace, clarity, and quiet joy.